like to be brutally honest. Yes, I received internship offers from both State Street, MFS, Wellington, and McKinsey within 5 days of each other. I picked McKinsey and later on got a written offer and worked for them as a consultant. But trust me, the journey was not all glamorous. There were weeks of simply waiting, radio silence, plenty of self-doubts, and interviews I totally messed up. I learned from every single one of the steps and I grew. In this video, I'm going to share these resume tips that worked well for me. If you're interested, keep on watching. One of the common questions I get asked a lot is, where do I even start with this job search process? Instead of perfecting your resume right away, I highly recommend start with a quick job search to see what's out there. You may use resources like the LinkedIn Jobs, company website, your school career center, career fairs. Think about what types of jobs that may interest you and explore the options out there, the jobs that are currently available in the market. Carefully read through these job descriptions and even bookmark them. Understand the qualifications and the skills that these employers are looking for. Later on, use them to tailor your resume. After you did a quick job search, it's time to categorize the types of jobs you're interested in. For example, I was interested in both finance and supply chain roles. Now, these two are different fields, so I created 2 versions of my resume. Now, this is very useful if you're a college student or a new graduate out of college. You're still exploring your career options. In your resume, you want to cover a few critical parts: personal information, education, experience, skills, and interest. I will link a resume template that I use below in the comments. The first section is the personal information section. The section is quite straightforward. It's just letting the HR know where to contact and how to contact you. You may include a link to your LinkedIn profile in there, and if anyone's interested in that, I'll make a video on how to create your LinkedIn profile. Now we come to the education section. For here, you wanted to keep your school name in there, and you want to have your degree in there. If you're a college student, you can put candidate in front of your degree, and you want to have your major in there as well. Remember to include your GPA if you are strong in that, as some industries have a GPA requirement. I highly recommend to list your relevant courses. Why? Especially when you don't have a lot of experience. This is a good opportunity to show off some of the hard skills. For example, back then, I applied to a job that requires Python skill set. I didn't have any work experience related to Python, so I write my intro to Python course in there that I was taking. It helps with the keyword screening, and the interviewer, my employer, will know that I will be equipped with the skill when I get to the job. Remember to add your study abroad experience if you have any, especially when you're applying to international companies. It's a good way to show your cultural awareness and your adaptability. Lastly, list any honor and leadership roles you have at the university or school. It's a good way to show that you have commitment and you can work well in a team. Now on to the work experience section, which is the most important section in your resume. This section covers your roles at companies you worked at. Note, it's very much understandable if you don't have a lot of work experience, especially when you are fresh out of college or you're a college student looking for internships. You can write about your internship, volunteer work, your part-time job, your campus job. All of them are valuable experience. My first version of resume had my research assistant job in it. It's campus job part-time, but I helped a professor with the research. In this section, you can use bullet points, but remember to start with very strong action verbs. Now, let me say that help is not strong enough. Help with analysis is not good enough. It's not specific enough. Instead, use action verbs and metrics. This is a common mistake I see people make all the time. And let's look at an example. Let's say if you work at the CC Cola LLC. If you are a marketing analyst, a bad example would be that you helped analyze customer data for marketing purpose. You can improve this by asking yourself 4 questions. Now, this is where all the essence of my resume tips comes from. So definitely take notes. This is important. Number 1 is, what did I do? Number 2 is, what tool, software, programming language, method did I use? Number 3, what results did I accomplish? Number 4 is, what KPI did I improve? After all that 4 questions, we can revise this into an amazing bullet point. What did we do? We conducted in-depth analysis, and I wrote out the whole analysis. What tool, what programming language did we use? We used Python. What results did we accomplish? We had targeted marketing campaigns. What KPIs did we improve? We improved conversion rate and engagement by XY%. This way you have much more fruitful bullet points. Certification. This section is optional. It's really good for people who have very strong certification certifications. You want to make sure your interviewers and the HR knows about it. Some of the solid certifications I can think of are CPA, CFA, FRM, whatever certifications really matter for your field. Remember to write them out. The last section is skills and interests. In the section, you can write the language you speak. Remember, only write the skills that you are at least intermediate. If you write that you speak German, if the interviewer, he or she, also speaks German, they may actually question you in German. So just keep that in mind. You can list any relevant computer skill sets such as Excel, Python, Power BI, so on and so forth. I highly recommend that you write a little bit about your interests. Why? Because this can be a conversation starter with your interviewer. Say if you write that you like to play tennis in this section and your team happens to have a bunch of tennis players who gather around on the weekend to play tennis. This is a good way to leave that first impression, and they say, oh, he or she may work very well for our team because we love to do that. Now you have your whole resume. You think it ends right here. No, absolutely not. What you do afterwards is what differentiates you from your competitors. Okay, here's my checklist. Number one, you want to check if you have enough keywords for that job you're applying to. Remember the job descriptions you bookmarked? It's time to pull them up. Most of the screenings are done based on the keywords in your resume. Second thing you want to check is to make sure that you keep your resume to only one page. Don't exceed the limit. Especially when you're fresh out of college, no one really has the time to read a resume that's over one page. So make sure you keep it concise and keep it professional. Sometimes less is more. Third, remember to use tools like Grammarly or ChatGPT to check your grammar. You can copy and paste your resume and they will tell you where you made mistakes. If being detail-oriented is in the job description and you made 15 grammar mistakes in your resume, I highly doubt that you will get the job. Checklist number 4 is to get feedback from people. Send your resume to family, friends, school career center, alumni in your network to provide that constructive feedback. I think I showed more than 10 people my resume. Be honest with your resume. Be honest with your skills and experience. Even if you get your dream job because you lied on your resume, because you exaggerated on your resume, you likely won't succeed at the job because you don't have the adequate experience. And remember, you are more than your resume. You're more than your experience. Don't let anyone create anxiety for you, certainly not the companies that rejected you. What I say to these companies that have rejected me is big loss on you, and I know there's a greater and amazing opportunity out there waiting for me. With these resume tips, you're well on your way to catch employers' attention. But what happens after you got your interview invite? In my next video, I'll share my interview process and my networking strategy that helped me land multiple offers. If you're interested, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned. Bye!